Well, good evening, all my little fluffs, bunnies, and puffers out there. It is Daisy here with you tonight, having a quick little story time video. Mostly just a kind of a state of fluff style happenstances of what's been going on in my fluffy world. One thing, my bow looks a little crooked, but I don't think I can get that any brighter. Good enough. So, it's been a couple weeks since my sister moved out, and we've been doing a good job of reclaiming the house and getting things back in order. Uh, some things that are visible to everyone are accomplished, like the breakfast nook is now no longer her office. It's back to being our breakfast nook. It's very open and very clean and very sparse, which is the way we like it. Reason being, if we start putting stuff on there, it becomes a clutter magnet again, and we're trying to avoid doing that again. We don't want it to become just the place where we just stick things. We want it to become a maintained being, a place where the two of us can sit down in the kitchen area and have dinner together or breakfast or whatnot. Fridge space has definitely been reclaimed, and we have really been enjoying being able to have fresh vegetables and things again. We have been having subs for the last subs and salads. Him salads only. I just do the subs, but making sandwiches of sorts for lunches, and that's been amazing. I forgot how much I loved having lunch meat and veggies on a big old piece of bread, and not paying the price you'd pay at Subway. Taking into account even all of the vegetables and stuff that I pick up for this stuff, we could maybe eat at Subway together twice, whereas this is enough to make lunch for both of us for all week. And it's exactly what we want and nothing else. So, yay on that. I found some really nice hoagie rolls at Sam's Club, which, they're around a foot long, I think a little longer, and I split one of them to be a lunch for each day. So, 2 subs out of each big old foot long, and that's pretty awesome. My apologies. Allergies have been apparently kicking me today, and I have a little bit of a goobers in my throat, apparently. Also, we've continued to clean out the garage area now that we have access to it again. I had just started into this project of making the garage straightened out right before they ended up moving in. Part of this was because when we moved in almost 4 years ago, 4 years ago, like in a couple of weeks, 4 years ago, priority had to go to the rooms we actually did stuff in as to what was organized and what was made nice. So like the living room, the bedroom, the guest room, the family room, and stuff like that, all took kind of priority of to what we had to work hardest to get nice, and keep nice, especially when we had company and stuff. Even things like the pantry got sort of sidestepped as didn't have a lot of time to care about how that was. It held the food, and we went on with our days. So now that we finally, this many years in, feel like we have a lot of the rooms pretty well nailed down. The workroom upstairs is almost exactly the way we want it. I am pretty darn happy with that. I think we both want new desk chairs, but we both had decided that was really a good idea around mid-pandemic, so we haven't had a chance to go to the office stores and sit on all the chairs and pick the ones we actually would like to have. Because really, if you're, butt to chair for 40 hours a weekish, you want to make sure that chair is a comfortable chair. Uh, don't just buy the one in the box that looks pretty. Your back might regret it if you don't try it out. So that room's all sorted out. The bedroom, we got furniture for it a few years ago. Heck, even the plushy room has a nice set of bunk beds, and it's set up as a nice little lounge upstairs. Uh, all the upstairs rooms look where they want to be. The living room, even better than it had been. Something's changed that we weren't expecting, like putting the other couch in the back of it. That made the room even better. So that's awesome. And the family room really kind of came together more as a craft room slash creative room. And I'm happy with how it's become. So, all of that being said, we really moved on to, finally, the garage. One thing that had been just basically stuffed onto the workbench that was in the garage. All of my tools, all of his tools, a lot of outside equipment stuff was just kind of shoved in and on the workbench that was already in the garage and not really done anything with. This had to happen when we moved in. It had to go somewhere. And it's just, we hadn't really gotten around to doing anything with it. So, Autumn and I went to first buy a bunch of pegs for the pegboards, because there's a whole wall of pegboard in that room. And we got a bunch of peg hanging things to hang up all sorts of types of tools and stuff. And by golly, I hung up most all of the tools that had a chance of potentially hanging, including screwdrivers, which there's a line of like over, I think it's 20-ish or more screwdrivers that are actually what's hanging. Those are just the ones that can fit in these little tube hanger things we have. It doesn't include like the little precision tiny screwdrivers because they don't have enough of a thing to hang with. And that doesn't include all of the multi-driver sets. I have a couple of those also hung up as well. So every bit that I could think of is hung up there. I have a screwdriver set with like so many bits, like 50 or 60 different bits. And I didn't know there were that many types of screws, but I have screwdriver for them because I saw it on sale once. Just in case. After that, it came down to, well, I want to do some more organizing and making sense of the rest of the garage. We set up the pantry at the front end of the garage to help with the pantry that's inside the house. Just got a couple of those frame metal shelves that use little plastic doodles, and the shelves slide down on top of them with 4 posts. We got 2 kits of them, put them together into one 6-posted monstrosity underneath the shelf. The slat shelves that were part of the garage when we moved in. And we moved all the canned goods out there. And some other stuff like the jarred spaghetti sauce and our soda storage is all out there. And it's actually really good. It decluttered the pantry in the house, which is just kind of a closet underneath the stairs in the front hall. And it makes both sections a lot more organized and accessible. We were really happy with this. So we decided to expand upon this idea now that we have our garage back. The next thing we had going on was we had another shelving unit from when we were in Carlisle. It was a 6-foot tall by 36 inches wide, 18 inches deep. Another set of those same kind of metal shelves, 5 shelves. Now that all that stuff was off of the wall, the other sectional wall in the garage, behind the closet in the family room, I set that up. And I was like, this looks pretty good. I like this. I also had to clean it off because it had been kind of in storage in the garage for about 4 years. Yeah, we hadn't gotten around to that for a bit. But it was like, it looks really good. But this wall is 6 feet long, apparently. And this thing is 36 inches. It's only exactly half of it. So I went on Amazon and found another 36 by 18 by 72 inch shelving unit, also in black, and ordered it. So it'll be here tomorrow. And we'll have that there. I already stuck the boxes from our work laptops on top of there. We're supposed to store them in case, I ever have to send them back. The coolers sitting on there, the spare paper towels and toilet paper are basically just stored there in the garage. The garage is nice and dry. It stays within about 10 degrees of the inside house temperature. So canned goods, paper goods, all that jazz, perfectly safe. I am not worried about any of that stuff in the garage. And we don't really get too much in line of bugs in. Well, you get some because you open the big frickin' wall every time you drive in. But we don't tend to drive in late at night, so less chance of light attracting bug as you're driving into the house. Yeah, that's the thing. So one shelving is assembled. The other one's getting here tomorrow for that. And, well, we thought to go yet a step further as well. Looking at the other wall, there's the wall directly in front of the car, but there's a wall beside the car, which is right next to the slop sink. I think we all know what that is, that kind of utility sink that you either have in your garage or basement. Well, we have it in our garage. It's a single basin slop sink. And something we accidentally stored there, I do mean accidentally, was a small, like Walmart-style 3-shelf shelf. The one that's only about waist high. And it's made out of particle board that probably doesn't survive anything. We'd been using it upstairs for our break room in our workroom, where we had the tea kettle and our tea supplies for upstairs. And we eventually switched that up to a small desk from down here when we got the new desks that I'm currently sitting at now. So that old shelving unit, which was already an old shelving unit when it was given to us, kind of had to glue part of it together. That's how awesome it was when it was dropped off. So it was actually on its way out the door when we was like, hey, you know what, we'll just use this as part of the holding zone for stuff coming into the house. At the time, we were still quarantining our foodstuffs, if they could be, due to COVID issues. So we just used it as additional space out there to temporarily house items until they were safe. And especially when my sister and her boyfriend were here, that made a big deal because we had now more space to put stuff out there. And it was basically full almost all the time. But we were like, we like this idea of us using a shelf here. We want something better. So I looked into the same exact shelving kit that was in the front of the car, which is, if built the way it's supposed to be, 60 inches tall, 14 inches deep, 30 inches wide. That one, or at the same time, the other one I just had ordered, showed up today. So it's sitting in the family room in pieces, getting ready to be assembled. I already cleared out the space where it's going to be. I'll be doing that after I finish these videos tonight. And I'm looking forward to sticking that up. Overall use, I'm expecting it to just be an expansion of the pantry, if necessary, or possibly places to store more stuff out in the garage. Either way, it's better to have usable space there, whether or not we're using it, than to have no usable space and feel like there's just kind of an empty bubble where there could be something and it doesn't feel like a place you want to walk anyway. Even measured, it has good enough clearance. The attic drop down is right in front of there, which, by the way, yeah, you kind of got to move the car to do the attic drop down because it's like right in front of the car's right fender. And I don't really want to dent the car with the attic ladder. I know. I have things in my head like not wanting to destroy the car with an attic ladder. That's all on me. So it's going to fit nicely from the looks of it. After they had gone out of the house, I'd basically thinned down all but like 3 things that were on that shelving unit, only because I just hadn't gotten around to bringing them inside. A couple cans of breadcrumbs and the bag of coffee. I like coffee. I've been trying to cut back, so we don't go through it quite so much, but I do buy it when it starts running low, and I had the new bag of 8 o'clock beans out in the garage still. I think there was an empty paper bag on that shelf too, which I threw away when I realized it was an empty paper bag. So yeah, progress. So much more shelving. The garage already looks a lot more amazing. I'm really happy about that. I always wanted a garage when I was younger, and I had no prospect of ever living in a house with a garage. I thought that was just only fancy people had that, and people on TV. Because, TV families always have houses that are way, way above where their price line probably should be. I work in a horrible, horrible, life-demeaning job that barely pays me anything. I have a 7-bedroom house with a 2-car garage attached to it. Uh-huh. And you're making less than minimum wage, and you afforded that in a city. I don't believe that. But yeah, I never thought I'd have an attached garage. I thought that was a pipe dream, and now that I have it, it's like, wow, this is an amazing thing to have in my life. I have access to my toolish area without having to go down to a smelly basement. My car parks inside of the house, and so when I go to unload groceries, I don't have to like go from the inside of the house out to the car at the curb, back in. I'm like, open the back of the car, and since now the canned goods type stuff is in the garage, all I do is walk it around the car, and I put it right on the shelves. Then I take in the cold storage stuff into the house. Freezer is on the wall right next to the door on the inside, so it's literally the other side of the wall from the canned goods. The fridge is directly to the right of that. You just walk through another doorway and you're in the kitchen, and that's where that stuff goes. And the potentially more moistish dry goods like pasta and whatnot goes on the other end of the kitchen in the pantry under the stairwell still. It's pretty nice to be able to just do that without having to go make multiple trips to the car, carrying stuff up 2 flights of fire escapes. Yeah, that was our life in Carlisle. And having space to store a large enough amount of food and not feel like I'm just working on the edge of things. Still can't move that. Yeah. But I like having a neat garage. I like the fact that my tools all seem to be accessible now, more or less. It's got a little more tweaking to do, but the majority of the tools are actually up on the wall, which is nice. My phone just vibrated. It's inside my pocket, inside my suit, so I hope whoever it is doesn't need me right away. And yeah, I'm really enjoying garage upgrades. Do I intend to fill up all these shelves right away? Oh, heck no. Do I have some plans? Yes. One of them is Christmas decorations. They're in the attic. Every time we go to get the Christmas decoration down, it's a pain. It's a thing we always delay until the very last minute, and then half the time go, well, it's already too late. I'm not putting up the Christmas tree. That's too much work. And then we'd have to take them back up. The last time we had the Christmas decorations down, we put them up at a reasonable time frame, took them down at a reasonable time frame, and then they sat in the family room until like September when we were going to have guests. So they sat around the house for 6 months before we took them up the ladder to the attic. And that year we just didn't bring them down again because I felt like, well, nobody's going to come visit anyway. I'm not going to put up the lights. Nope. So that didn't happen. It hasn't happened for the last 2 years now. So hopefully this year we'll bring down the Christmas decorations and then leave them on the shelving in the garage where it's, well, they're in the attic above the garage, so this would be actually slightly safer than where they are right now. Might want a new Christmas tree. I think that one's kind of getting a little lame. It's a pre-lit one, and we're down at least a handful of bulbs last time I remember looking at it, and I'm not putting up a self-lighting Christmas tree to put lights on it. It needs to light itself. So yes, there's that. Some of the stuff that's still on the workbench that I can take off that is going to move over to the shelving units that I'm putting up against the wall, the 18-inch deep ones. I can get everything off of that workbench if I'd wanted to, but I'm just going to get all the things that don't need to live there, like empty toolboxes and toolboxes with things that aren't actually tools, like the one full of keychains. I had a keychain thing when I was a kid. I collect a lot of keychains. And so get all that stuff off the tool bench. Things like the garden hose and we have some new solar lights we want to put out at some point. They're sitting in a box. Put those off on the shelf. But yeah, everything's looking a lot nicer and I'm really enjoying it. I love the fact that I have a functional garage that I don't feel like cluttering up. And hopefully 10 years from now I'll be able to say, yeah, I managed. I kept from cluttering it up. My expectations? I clutter a little bit, but I'm not going to ruin it. I'm going to do my best to keep that pantry organized for a long time to come because that makes my life so much easier. Oh, having sorted out food makes life so much easier. I know how much corn I have on stock. I know how much soup of each kind I have on stock. I know how much tomato sauce I have and barbecue sauce and things like that because I can see how deep their line goes. And I found out how much hoisin sauce I had bought over the years and not gotten through all of. And the barbecue sauce, which had been on like 3 different shelves and is now all in a line. And there's still like 7 of them on the shelf, I think. The big bottle too, not like little ones, the larger size bottle of KZ Masterpiece. That's our flavor. So yeah, progress. Yay! Pretty jazzed. Got some more plans for the family room as well, but keep those a little closer to the cuff for right now since we hadn't fully vamped out everything yet. And, one thing did happen. I did put up one of the large garment racks in there and started putting a few of the fursuit stuffs in on it that had been in the living room, so they'll be easier to access than being on a pile in the chair. And I don't have to go upstairs to get the things that I need to wear each night. So that's also a plus. That's going to be a work in progress for a while. I know that. I'm not fooling myself. This is not an instantaneous, everything becomes neat and tidy, but I'll work on that. Whew. Well, this was a long State of the Fluff. I hope you're all keeping comfy and keeping floofy like I am. I can't think of anything too much more exciting to say. I hope you're all feeling organizy. Hope your spring cleaning bug made it through as well, and you made sure your places look nice and neat. Still got a lot of vacuuming to do. Got a lot of floors to mop, and part of the fridge I want to wipe out. But that's future me's problem. And I did get the guest bedroom all reset now. Sheets were clean. Made the bed back up. Made it look all pretty. Posted on my Twitter. So next time someone comes to visit, they have a place to stay already. Yay! They can look at my fur fabric on the shelves while they're there, because that's in that room. Anyway, I've babbled on long enough. I hope you're all having a good day. I hope you're all feeling pink and fluffy, and I hope you're feeling good. So for now, thank you for spending some time with us, Bunners. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the little dingly bell for the little dingly bell, let you know when I post new videos. Who knows? Could be more Daisy. Could be babbling. Probably going to be at least a fursuit video. I tend to put up one of those almost every day. And of course my Patreon link and Coffee link in the description box below. They do help provide important things for the channel, like better lighting out in the fursuit room, better camera equipment, which is something I'd really love to be able to afford, and of course things to talk about, like shelving units. Well, I'd say more work paid for that stuff than this because, well, Patreon hasn't paid that much yet. But it has bought some lighting equipment, so that's a thing. But it also does pay for more outfitty bits, like new corsets and capes and things, so yeah, you're helping. Anyway, I babbled even more, but, well, hope you all stay cute and fluffy. I look forward to seeing you again on my next video and talking to you about more things, or just looking cute on camera for you. But, this bun is gonna go, and, yeah, stay pink and fluffy. Daisy loves you.